Imagine a world where every move you make is calculated, every word you speak is a weapon, and every relationship is a chessboard. This isn't just the stuff of movies or ancient legends. It's the reality that Niccolo Machiavelli, the infamous master of power, understood centuries ago. His name has become synonymous with cunning, manipulation, and the art of winning at all costs. But what if I told you that the real secrets of Machiavelli's playbook go far deeper than what you've heard in history class? What if there's a hidden layer of psychological tactics, so controversial, so effective, that most people are too afraid to even discuss them out loud? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the forbidden side of influence. These aren't your typical self-help tips or recycled dating advice. These are the dark strategies that operate beneath the surface, shaping who holds the power in any relationship, especially when it comes to controlling the dynamics with women. Most will shy away from this knowledge, scared of what it reveals about human nature. But if you're ready to see the world as it really is, not as you wish it to be, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Let's start with a truth that most people refuse to accept. In the game of influence, perception is reality. You've probably heard the cliche, don't judge a book by its cover. But Machiavellians know that everyone does, whether they admit it or not. The first few seconds someone meets you, they're already making snap judgments about your confidence, your status, your potential. And those judgments stick. That's why the most powerful people in any room are rarely the ones with the best intentions or the purest hearts. They're the ones who understand how to control the narrative from the very first glance. Think about it. Why do some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, while others fade into the background? It's not luck. It's not even always about looks. It's about the deliberate crafting of an image, projecting confidence, status, and a hint of mystery. Machiavellians master the art of first impressions. They know that if you can control how others see you, you can control how they treat you. This is why they invest in their appearance, their body language, and even the way they speak. Every detail is a tool, every gesture a calculated move. Mainstream advice tells you to just be yourself. But here's the hidden truth. Being yourself is only effective if you know how to present the best version of yourself. Machiavellians don't leave this to chance. They understand the psychology of status, how subtle cues, like posture, eye contact, and even silence can signal dominance or submission. They use confidence as a weapon, not just a feeling, and they never reveal everything about themselves at once. Mystery is magnetic. When you're unpredictable, when you hold something back, people become obsessed with figuring you out. This is the power of perception. It's not about faking who you are. It's about amplifying the traits that make you influential and strategically hiding the ones that don't. If you ignore this, you'll always be at the mercy of those who understand the game better than you. So ask yourself, are you shaping your image or letting others define it for you? Because in the world of dark psychology, the person who controls perception controls the game. And once you master this, you're ready to move from the outside in, straight to the heart of emotional leverage. If perception is the doorway to influence, emotional leverage is the lockpick that lets you inside. Here's where most people get it wrong. They believe that relationships are built on a steady stream of affection, honesty, and support. But Machiavellians know that true power comes from controlling the emotional thermostat, turning up the heat with validation, then plunging it into cold withdrawal. This isn't about cruelty. It's about understanding the psychology of addiction and how the human brain craves unpredictability far more than consistency. Let's break it down. When you shower someone with attention and praise, you trigger a rush of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Compliments, thoughtful messages, and undivided focus make someone feel seen and special. But here's the twist. If you keep the validation coming non-stop, it loses its power. The brain adapts, and what was once exciting becomes routine. That's where withdrawal comes in. By suddenly pulling back, becoming distant, less responsive, or even a little cold, you create a void. The person on the receiving end starts to wonder what changed, what they did wrong, and how they can get that feeling back. This push-pull dynamic is the secret sauce behind emotional dependency. It's the reason people become obsessed with those who are hot one moment and cold the next. The unpredictability keeps them hooked, always chasing the next high. Mainstream advice says love should be unconditional, but the hidden truth is that most people are far more attracted to those who make them work for approval. Machiavellians exploit this by carefully timing their validation, giving just enough to keep someone invested, then withdrawing it to create longing and uncertainty. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever found yourself thinking about someone non-stop after they suddenly stopped texting you, or felt a surge of excitement when a distant partner finally gave you attention again? That's not an accident. It's the brain's reward system in action, and Machiavellians know exactly how to trigger it. They use praise and withdrawal like a puppeteer pulls strings, making others dance to their rhythm. But here's the warning. This tactic is powerful, but it's also dangerous. Used recklessly, it can backfire, breeding resentment or even emotional damage. The ethical line is thin, and only those who truly understand the consequences should wield this tool. Still, if you want to master influence, you can't ignore the power of emotional leverage. And once you see how easy it is to create emotional dependency, you'll realize the next level of control comes not from what you say, but from how you guide someone's thoughts, leading us straight into the art of suggestion. Now that you understand the power of emotional leverage, it's time to step into the shadows of true influence, the art of suggestion. This is where Machiavellians separate themselves from the amateurs. While most people try to persuade with logic or brute force, the true masters know that the most effective way to control someone is to make them believe the idea was theirs all along. It's not about barking orders or making demands. It's about planting seeds in the mind and letting them take root. Let's start with subtle language. Machiavellians are experts at using words that bypass resistance. Instead of saying, "You should do this," they'll say, "I wonder what would happen if you tried this." Or, "Have you ever noticed how much better things go when you..." These phrases don't trigger defensiveness. Instead, they slip under the radar, making the listener feel like they're making their own choices. This is the foundation of conversational hypnosis, using tone, pacing, and carefully chosen words to guide someone's thoughts without them even realizing it. Leading questions are another powerful tool. Rather than telling someone what to think, Machiavellians ask questions that steer the conversation in a specific direction. Don't you think it's strange how everyone else seems to miss this? Or, what would it feel like to be the only one who truly understands? These questions create a sense of exclusivity and curiosity, priming the mind to accept new beliefs. The key is to make the other person feel like they're discovering hidden truths, not being told what to believe. Priming is the final layer. This is the psychological trick of exposing someone to certain ideas or emotions before making a suggestion, making them more likely to accept it. For example, if you want someone to feel adventurous, you might first talk about exciting experiences or daring people you both admire. Then when you suggest trying something new, their mind is already primed to say yes. Machiavellians use stories, metaphors, and even casual remarks to set the stage for the decisions they want others to make. Mainstream advice says to be direct and honest, but the hidden truth is that the subconscious mind is far more powerful than logic. The person who masters suggestion can shape beliefs, influence decisions, and even rewrite memories, all without ever appearing forceful. Once you see how easily ideas can be planted, you'll understand why the next step for Machiavellians is to control not just thoughts, but the very environment someone lives in. That's where isolation and exclusivity come into play. Once a Machiavellian has planted ideas and shaped perceptions, the next move is to quietly build a world where they become the sun around which everything else orbits. This isn't about locking someone away or making obvious demands. It's about subtle isolation, gradually becoming the main source of attention, validation, and emotional support, while gently nudging other influences out of the picture. Most people think of isolation as something dramatic, but the most effective form is almost invisible. It happens through small, calculated steps that go unnoticed until the target is already dependent. It starts with exclusivity. Machiavellians make their target feel special, chosen, and uniquely understood. They create inside jokes, private rituals, and shared secrets that set their relationship apart from all others. This sense of exclusivity is intoxicating. It makes the target crave more of that unique connection and less of what the outside world offers. Over time, the Machiavellian subtly questions the intentions of friends, points out flaws in family advice, or simply becomes so engaging that the target naturally spends less time with anyone else. Mainstream wisdom says healthy relationships are built on trust and independence. But here's the hidden truth. When someone becomes your main source of validation, it's easy to lose perspective. The Machiavellian leverages this by being both the comfort and the storm, offering support one moment, then pulling away the next, making the target chase after their approval. The outside world starts to fade, replaced by a reality where the Machiavellian's opinions, moods, and desires take center stage. Of course, this tactic is a double-edged sword. Used with care, it can create intense loyalty and connection. Used recklessly, it can lead to emotional dependency, isolation, and even psychological harm. The ethical line is razor thin, and many who play this game end up trapped by their own web. That's why it's crucial to recognize the signs, both in yourself and others. If you've ever found yourself drifting away from friends or feeling like one person is your entire world, you've already felt the pull of this strategy. The question is, are you aware of it? Or are you just another piece on someone else's chessboard? Because the next level of control isn't just about exclusivity. It's about unpredictability and how keeping someone off balance can make them even more obsessed. If exclusivity is the glue that binds, unpredictability is the spark that keeps the fire burning, and sometimes burning out of control. Here's a truth that most people never want to admit. Stability is comforting, but unpredictability is addictive. Machiavellians understand that when you become a puzzle that can't be solved, you become irresistible. The mind craves patterns, and when it can't find one, it becomes obsessed with trying to figure you out. This is where emotional volatility comes into play. Instead of offering a steady stream of affection or attention, the Machiavellian alternates between warmth and distance, approval and criticism, intimacy and withdrawal. This isn't random cruelty. It's a calculated use of what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. When rewards, like affection, praise, or attention, are given unpredictably, the brain releases even more dopamine than it would from consistent rewards. It's the same principle that keeps people glued to slot machines, always chasing the next win, never knowing when it will come. Mainstream advice says that consistency is the foundation of trust, but the hidden truth is that unpredictability can create a much deeper hold. When someone never knows what to expect, they become hyper-focused on the source of their emotional highs and lows. Every text, every compliment, every moment of closeness becomes a potential jackpot. The uncertainty keeps them coming back, desperate to regain the warmth they once felt. Machiavellians use this to their advantage, keeping their target off balance and always guessing. They might cancel plans at the last minute, give a compliment out of nowhere, or suddenly go silent for a day. Each unpredictable move resets the emotional stakes, making the target work harder for approval and validation. Over time, this creates a powerful cycle of obsession and compliance. The target becomes so invested in winning back the Machiavellian's attention that they'll do almost anything to get it. But here's the warning: play this game too long, and it can spiral out of control. Obsession can turn to resentment, and compliance can become rebellion. The line between influence and manipulation is thin, and crossing it can have serious consequences. That's why understanding the ethics and dangers of these tactics is just as important as knowing how they work. Because the final lesson in Machiavellian psychology isn't about power, it's about the price you pay for wielding it. Every game of power comes with a cost, and nowhere is that more true than in the world of dark psychology. It's easy to get caught up in the thrill of control, the rush of seeing your influence shape someone's thoughts and actions. But here's the reality that Machiavellians rarely talk about. These tactics are double-edged swords. For every moment of dominance, there's a risk of backlash, exposure, or even self-destruction. The very strategies that make you powerful can also make you vulnerable. Let's start with the moral dilemma. Manipulating someone's emotions, isolating them, or keeping them off balance might get you what you want in the short term. But it comes at a price. You're not just playing with someone's feelings. You're shaping their reality. The line between influence and exploitation is razor thin, and crossing it can leave lasting scars, not just on your target, but on yourself. Guilt, paranoia, and the constant fear of being found out can eat away at even the most hardened Machiavellian. And if your tactics are exposed, the fallout can be brutal. Destroyed trust, ruined reputations, and sometimes even legal consequences. There's also the danger of escalation. The more you rely on manipulation, the more you have to escalate your tactics to maintain control. What starts as subtle suggestion can turn into outright gaslighting. What begins as playful unpredictability can spiral into emotional chaos. Eventually, the person you're trying to control may snap, breaking free, seeking revenge, or exposing your methods to others. The hunter can quickly become the hunted. So, how do you protect yourself, both from becoming a manipulator and from falling victim to one? The first step is awareness. Learn to recognize the signs: sudden isolation from friends, emotional highs and lows that seem engineered, or a constant feeling of walking on eggshells. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Set boundaries. Maintain your independence, and never let anyone become your sole source of validation. Ultimately, the most powerful person in any relationship is the one who can walk away. Use these insights not as weapons, but as shields, to protect yourself from those who would use them against you. Because in the end, the real test of power isn't how much you can control others, but how well you can control yourself. And that's the lesson most people never learn until it's too late. You've just uncovered the hidden mechanics of influence, the same Machiavellian tactics that have shaped power dynamics for centuries. From mastering perception and emotional leverage to planting ideas, creating exclusivity, and wielding unpredictability, you now see the game for what it truly is. But remember, this knowledge is a double-edged sword. It can be used to protect yourself, to spot manipulation before it takes hold, or to gain an edge in a world that rarely plays fair. The real challenge is using it with awareness and responsibility. Most people will never dare to look this deep beneath the surface. But you're not most people. If you found value in these insights, drop a comment below. What shocked you the most? Or have you ever recognized these tactics in your own life? Let's start a real conversation. And if you want more forbidden knowledge and raw truths about power, psychology, and self-mastery, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Remember, the most dangerous person in any room is the one who understands the rules and knows when to break them. Stay sharp, stay aware, and use your power wisely.